Hello, Internet. Welcome back to our Cataclysm series. And we've been looting the area around. We did manage to get into that outdoorsman shop in the last episode. Cleared that out, and then we found a survivor house with a secret back bunker room, which I'm very interested in, and I think we should try to get access to. Unfortunately, the way that Cataclysm works, a lot of times those hard to reach places are not actually that impressive. There's probably not much in there, and we've already discussed at length why I don't think this is a good location. But we should at least crack it open and see what's in there. So we're going to need some, and I feel like there was something else at the end of the last episode I said, oh, if we don't forget, and I've completely forgotten what that is. So that's exciting. So let's make some more lockpicks, shall we? We need scrap metal or wires. Well, I don't know where there's a fence anywhere nearby, so we'll look for scrap metal. We should be able to get that from the shelving units we broke in a previous episode. We have 8 scrap metal. That will do. Head back over here. Make ourselves some lockpicks. We'll make all of them. It's always good to have a few extra lockpicks. I'm a fan of lockpicking. I do have a practice lock and some padlocks that I occasionally will make an effort at picking, but it's generally not something I thought. So when I first started lockpicking, what am I doing? Making a new knife spear. We should have, yes, this will convert an existing knife spear into a proper knife spear into the non-flimsy version. So we'll take that one. And we will drop the other one and make sure we did that swap correctly. We did. Our shirt is a little destroyed, but that's the only thing I'm concerned about. Everything else looks good. Where are my lockpicks? They're on this table. So we'll take those as well. That should do. Close this up. If we get a mop, we'll clean up the corpses that have sprayed blood all over our nice little armchair. In fact, stains don't move with the chair, do they? No. So we could just drag the chair out from under the blood. That's totally how that works in real life. So let's head back up here. So I picked up lockpicking a few years ago and bought myself a set. And at the time, I spent not that much time doing it. I basically, once I had to practice lock and could see the inside of a lock, I understood what the mechanics of picking a lock were. So I started testing it on padlocks that I had, and I pretty reliably picked them. And then I also tried my front door, which was surprisingly easy to pick. So I understand kind of the basics of lock picking, and I enjoy the simple act of picking a lock. The problem is that I did not do it for a long time. You were a different sprite last time I looked at you, so they must have multiple sprites for the grappler here. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. So let's bring that guy over and kill him, because we really don't want to get grabbed while we're fighting other things. It's going to be a little tricky because, of course, they grab you and pull you close, which then puts you in a grab, which means they can bite you. Oh, you're quite fast as well. Let's sprint away from you. So I understand the basic mechanics of picking a lock, but I recently tried to do it again and found it much more difficult. I no longer have, I don't know what happened to my, well, people who don't know lock picking are probably not going to care about this, but basically the tensioning tool that I have is for bottom of the keyway tension, which is fine for most things. Like a big door lock is perfectly fine. Unfortunately, most of the padlocks that I have are small keyways, so I actually need a top tool in order to apply top tension, because otherwise it gets in the way of the picks. So I haven't been able to, I don't know where this thing went to. I had a little wiper insert that had like teeth on it to make it, like, I don't know the technical words for these things as well, so bear with me. But I had a little insert for the top of the keyway, and I can't find it, and I just can't seem to pick these locks with bottom tension because it blocks up the picks. So unfortunately, I have not been able to pick any locks since I picked it up again. I can pick the practice lock, but the practice lock is it's meant for demonstration. It's not actually meant for practicing your picking. So it's not like literally I could put a straight piece of metal in there, lift all the pins at once. They're all the same size and shape, and the lock would pop open. So it's not really meant for practice. It's more meant for understanding the fundamentals of what's inside of a lock. So I have not been able to pick anything since I started picking again. We did change locks on the front door, and I felt embarrassed trying to go down and pick our lock, so I haven't done that one. I think I could get the downstairs lock because it is a bigger keyway, and there's not really warding or anything that gets in the way. So I think it would be okay, and I would probably be able to do it. But all these padlocks I have, the keyways are so small, I can't actually even get the tools in there with the bottom of the keyway tension. But anyway, no one cares. No one cares. Point is, I'm a fan of lock picking. I think it's a cool thing to know. And I do have a kit. In fact, I have it on the table here, actually, and underneath a plastic bag. It's a nice big kit I got on Amazon. Has basically every tool you could ever need, and more tools than you would ever need, because many of them are pretty identical, just very slightly different hook shapes, which I'm not smart enough to know when those things are necessary. So to me, they're all pretty similar. But yeah, I enjoy the act of lock picking. But and I think people think that it's a super difficult thing. I actually found it really easy to get into. So we're very hungry, very thirsty, and it's nighttime now because we've been picking this lock forever. We are now devices of 2, which means our lock picking skill has gone up, but you see we're still not quite proficient. And I don't think that this is really a valuable use of our time. I feel like this is a waste of our time. Let's go home. Well, if we're going to go home, we might as well take some loot with us. So let's mark this as explored temporarily. And let's see about looking across the street at these other houses. And then we'll head home, eat and drink and whatnot. Check our... Oh, you're to my west. I am surprised. I thought I saw some to the south. Oh, and then we have that cursor on the screen. Sorry about that. I am trying to get better about keeping the cursor off of the main Cataclysm window, but we also need a question, so let's scroll and select. What's the funniest thing you've seen a kid do? I don't know. Kids, I'm not around kids ever. Okay, stop with the mouse scrolling, please. I'm not really around kids. The only kids I'm around is my niece, which she's not really funny so much. My family tells me stories sometimes about funny things she says and does, because you know how kids are, but I don't actually remember any of them. Let's just pick a house and go in. Front door's unlocked, huh? But I bet you have interior doors that are locked for no reason. Seems to always be the case. Funny things kids say and do. So I'm thinking back to my youth when I was around kids more, you know, as a child myself or a teenager myself. Can't really think of anything coming to mind. I did see a kid eat their own booger once. That was pretty horrifying. It was a girl too. You would think like girls are less gross than boys, but I don't actually think that's true. I think that's just something we get in our heads. That girls are not ever gross, because sometimes girls are pretty gross too. Remember that. I don't know why I remember that now that I'm saying it. I don't like this question. Give me a different question. Scroll. What story have you heard that stayed with you and always disturbs you every time you think about it? Good God, these questions. I don't know. What is this disturbing? I remember being in... There were so many... This is a weird question. There are so many horrible stories that people tell that stick with you. I remember being a kid, my stepfather's sister, or no, who was it? It was maybe my stepfather used to suck his thumb when he was a kid, and they made him, they were tired of him sucking his thumb, so one time when they went to a funeral, they made him touch the dead body with his thumb so that he would never suck his thumb again because it had touched a dead body. That's pretty gross and apparently has stuck with me because I still remember it to this day. So that's pretty gross. I have that mouse cursor on the screen again. Let's put that over here. Click over here. There we go. Okay. That's pretty haunting. Can you imagine being like 4 and you just rolling through life, you suck your thumb because that's what every kid, you know, lots of kids do. Yeah. So they have an interior locked door even though their front door is unlocked. I hate this. No one locks interior doors in their house. People don't do that. That's bizarre. And it's probably just a bedroom or some useless random room. No one locks a door unless they're inside. And because zombies aren't ever set to be spawned in certain locations, like there's nothing in this bedroom. It's empty. So somebody managed to lock an interior bedroom without ever leaving. Like the doors and windows are all closed and sealed. Why? There should be someone in here, right? There should be a zombie in there to show you that someone had locked this door. No one would lock a door as they leave their house. Like, I just don't understand why you would lock an interior door. So we just can't even get in there. I don't even care. Just take me down to the basement. Hacksaw and thread. That's our third hacksaw. Okay. There's stuff down here. A little living area. What is this? Is this like a workshop? Oh, it's a sewing basement. So one thing I do really like that they've added were multiple basements that have kind of a theme to them. Like we've seen the recording basement and kind of like a spa or pool basement, which I thought was pretty cool. So I do like that they've added those things to the game. I will not be wearing boxing gloves in the apocalypse. No, thank you. So that's like a pretty haunting, like weird story, you know, pressing your finger against a corpse because your family was sick of you sucking your thumb. It seems like a horrible parenting thing. I think we're going to take all of these materials that we can carry. Cotton sheets, I feel like we need those for a lot of clothing. We're really out of space though, huh? Yeah, we should go back to base and come back. Let's mark this. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat. Hopefully clearing my throat in the mic is not a big deal. Sewing basement. So we'll mark that and we will redo that note because I can't stand typos. And we'll leave it unmarked as explored. That way we can come back and retrieve the remaining materials there. But for now, we're going to head back to base. We're going to eat and drink. We might come back out one more time since it's going to be dark soon anyway. So we can get one more bit in here before night falls. Other haunting stories. I had a psych teacher in high school. He was my psych and soc teacher, so I don't remember which class it was in, but he was also my history teacher. But he told us that babies can't understand pain, so they don't feel pain because they can't conceptualize what pain is. Therefore, babies do not experience pain. And he used the example of when he had kids, because he had, I think, 3 daughters or something like that. He had kids, and this was back when diapers were still pinned to a baby. This was before disposable diapers were a common thing, I guess. We want our lockpicks back. Give me the lockpicks, and we're gonna favorite those. He talked about sticking his daughter by accident with a pin when he was pinning the diaper onto his daughter, and he said it was fine because even though, you know, she cried and whatever, she can't conceptualize what pain is. Therefore, pain is not real to her. Which I just thought was such an odd and just bizarre thing for him to say. This was also the man who told us stories about, I believe it was the Ukrainian, what's the word for it? Famine, I guess. There was a period of time in history where Ukraine went through a very bad, there was just no food. You know, you would hear reports of people eating grass and things like that to sustain themselves. And there were a lot of stories about cannibalism. And so he told us all these stories in a high school classroom about people pickling babies and things to survive. And for the record, if you're from Ukraine or anything, I'm not trying to disparage you in any way. By everything I remember, that was a really horrible time in like history for that area. And in general, communism, like that was before it was even Ukraine, right? It was, no, it would have been Ukraine, but it would have been my brain is, I'm stumbling over my thoughts. It was the socialist republic. I don't know what the word was. It may have been Ukraine. It may have been whatever. I don't know what the subdivisions were back then. But anyway, communism in general is not great. And there were always people who were like, fighting for the right just to grow food on land and things like that. So, like, don't get me wrong, it's part of the perils of communism, but I'm not trying to badmouth an entire country or anything like that. And I'm sure, listen, in a situation like that, you do what you got to do. If that's the difference between you and your children surviving or dying, I totally understand, doing anything. It's not great. It's horrible. Must have been a terrible, traumatic experience for all people involved. But I think in that moment, as a parent or a husband or whatever, I think you do what you need to do. And if that includes cannibalism, so be it. If that's the difference between you and, your kids living, I totally, it's a horrible experience, horrible situation to be in, but I'm not judging people for that. And you can think whatever you want about me because of that, but that's fine. So, he told us sitting in class all these stories about people finding, like, their neighborhood kid gets kidnapped and then they find them butchered or pickled or whatever. And that really, when I was a young man, that really stuck with me mentally. And that was something that I found very upsetting at the time. So what a bizarre question. Some of these questions, I'm sure I've said this before, I just pulled them randomly from the internet and just made like a big conglomerated list of it's my cell phone. Oh, it's okay that they interrupted me. It was a recording about an exclusive offer, so it's definitely something I needed to hear right this second. What was I saying? Oh, it was a conglomerated list of random questions from the internet. I didn't like audit them. I just checked some of their grammar, but I didn't really look at their actual content. In fact, I don't like these questions. Give me something else. And then that too, I never know where these came from, so I don't even know where to go in the list to get away from those questions. What awful movie do you love? I like Doom. You see the Doom movie? Carl Urban, The Rock, a couple other people that are mildly famous, varying degrees of famous. I love Carl Urban. I think he's fantastic in basically everything he does. Big fan. I recently watched The Boys, or whatever that's called. The superhero TV show. Was actually, the first season was really pretty great. Second season, kind of lost me a little bit. But Carl Urban, love that guy. And the Doom movie is not good, but I actually, I'm a fan. What can I say? I'm a fan. It's mindless. It's one of those you can put on at like 3 a.m. when you're exhausted and half watch it, and it's just kind of mindless action nonsense. So, yeah, I like the Doom movie. That's one of my go-tos. There are a lot of people who would argue that The Thing is a very bad movie. I freaking love The Thing. Probably my favorite movie of all time. And I watched that multiple times a year. In fact, over Christmas, I watched both Thing movies. I was in the mood for cold weather horror, and those are, in my opinion, the best. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Internet. I want these baseball bats. Can't haul in a vehicle. I'm going to use advanced inventory to transfer these out of the vehicle. It vanished. Okay, how about we do it this way? Okay, we'll do this. We'll transfer them out of the vehicle. Okay, and then we will haul them home, keeping an eye out for the zombies. And on the way, we're going to pick up the shovel that was here as well. So this is going to take us a while, and we're going to get interrupted the whole time we walk past this house because of inconsiderate zombies. And okay, smash doesn't really matter. Ignore. Because I would like this shovel, and having backup baseball bats is almost always beneficial. I thought the shovel was up here. It's not. Where's my shovel? Is not there. Nope. Where was the shovel? La Shovel. Shovel's there. Okay, in the gore pile. It's great. So we'll haul these down, and we will pick up the shovel as well. And we're going to try to avoid the corpses so we don't carry a bunch of erroneous items. And we will move the shovel over. Yes, and we will haul this home. Yeah, I like the Doom movie. Doom's pretty terrible. From like an objective movie, like plot and storytelling perspective, is pretty god awful. It is one of the better video game movies. Like, frankly, there's a lot of really terrible video game movies, and despite Doom not being very good, it is still better than a lot of other video game movies. So there's that. Other terrible movies. What do I like? Well, I like the second Thing movie, which is also not very good. And I definitely like that movie more than most people. I like what is it? Return of the Living Dead, which is the really kind of just nonsensical, jokey zombie movie from, I guess, from the 80s or early 90s, possibly. No, that would be from the 80s. It's a pretty noteworthy film, actually. Well, I don't want to spoil anything. So, like, if you haven't watched Return of the Living Dead, give it a watch. If you're a zombie fan, it is extremely goofy. And there's some absolutely ridiculous, silly nonsense that happens in that in that movie. But it's also just dumb fun, and I really, really enjoy it. So that's a dumb one that people probably would laugh at me for liking, despite having like actual like historical significance for zombie like films. Is like for instance, that's where the concept of zombies eating brains comes from. That was the first movie that ever had that, which was pretty obviously groundbreaking and is something that is associated to this day with zombies. Most people don't know the actual significance of that movie because it actually pioneered some ideas for zombies that are still in the mainstream today, including being one of the first films ever with a fast zombie, which is also pretty noteworthy. In fact, at the time, people said, dude, your zombie movie is terrible. The zombies are fast. That doesn't make any sense. And then, of course, it's now the most popular zombie movies of all time actually incorporate that into their storytelling. The Girl with All the Gifts, Train to Busan, 28 Days Later, World War Z was a big one. I hate that movie, but people still like it. Yeah, so fast zombies obviously are kind of a cultural significant thing now. So yeah. So what do we want to read? The sun's going to go down any moment. Just go eat and drink first, I guess. Take care of our initial needs. So that's like arguably a bad movie I don't like. See, now this meat sandwich rotted. I didn't even know we had meat sandwiches. So like I feel like because this list is starting partially scrolled, I'm missing out on things I should be eating before they go bad. And that bothers me. Let's drink something that should take us up to full, probably. Get some more calories from the almond juice and fruit juice. And then we will have water, and hopefully that slakes our thirst enough. Not really. I don't want to keep eating, though. And we'll go out and read. We should definitely raise our mechanics some, since we have a mechanics book. And we'll even come in and read for a few hours because we're not tired. So, this is the first time in a while that we're actually using the fire. Let's throw a splintered wood in the old stove there. Splintered wood. Activate. Great. And we have a nice comfy chair to read in. And we'll just sit at the table here and read. Why not? We'll raise some mechanics. We're very hot. We're hot to the point that we're really not feeling well. Okay, so fire is apparently... Is it like a huge fire? It looks solid and will burn for a few extra hours. And we're in the smoke. Unfortunately, there's not enough. We could read, but it's cloudy light, which is not good for us. Our stamina is going because we were breathing smoke. Let's remove some of our clothing. Do we even have room for... Let's drop these books. Drop the books. Oh, except for the one I was reading, please. How do we fix this? Take off. The duster should do a lot for us, temperature-wise. Geez, well, what's hot? Everything. Okay, hands would be gloves, and then I thought I saw legs. I can't really do much about that. Take off your pants, I guess, and read in the partial nude. Our mouth is hot despite not really having anything on it. Why do I have 3 encumbrance on my mouth? What's on my mouth? I'm wearing a scarf. Take that thing off. Take off the scarf. And we'll pull our chair up 1 tile. There's stuff in the way. Okay, we won't pull our chair up 1 tile. We'll pull our chair down 1 tile, so we're not actively standing in the smoke. And we'll go back to reading, although I'm sure the smoke will get us again. Terrible movies that I like. I watched Reanimator earlier this year. I thought that was pretty entertaining, despite being a god-awful movie. Like, that is just an absolutely stupid movie, but it's fun and enjoyable. So, you know, I mean, I can be down for just a stupid fun movie now and then. And we were really thirsty, huh? It must be because we're so hot. Have some more water. And I think we'll go to bed. We're actually in good health for once. So let's throw a bandage on our arm and we'll call it there. Go ahead and extinguish this fire as well. Is there hot air? There is. It doesn't seem to permeate all the way back to the bathroom. It kind of does, actually. Right into this hallway here. Okay, that's fine. Go to bed. No, you should go to bed. Keep going to sleep. Yeah, Reanimator is fun, albeit extremely goofy. I don't like a lot of bad movies. I'm kind of a critic. I'm very bad writing really bothers me, like when there's no character development and when and Hollywood is like so cliche at this point. And so many stories follow the same patterns over and over and over, and it gets really tedious once you know kind of how stories work. So for example, most movies, right before the ending, the heroes will get kind of in a fight together. Like they'll fight each other. Like they'll get in an argument. They'll get in a fight. Like romance movies, right before the crescendo, usually the couple breaks up. Like it's an extremely common trope that occurs in tons and tons of movies and things. And it just gets exhausting to constantly see that sort of stuff. Like once you start to recognize those things, it comes up constantly and it's just sort of boring and tedious once you know how a story's going to go. And it's fine in a mainstream movie. Like if you watch a Marvel movie, usually the heroes get into an argument or something before the end of the movie, right? Like it just happens. It's totally fine. It's not like it ruins the film or anything, but like it's just so robotic and I don't know. I just don't like it. Very hungry again. How's our weight doing? We're normal weight. I would like more calories, frankly, is what I think we need. We have a lot of dry goods at this point. It seems like not dry goods, a lot of sealed goods at this point. Oh, why are the pickles not sealed? Did I eat a pickle by accident? We should eat these. They last for 4 weeks. What is this? Sourdough bread. I think we have some eggs. Can we make like an egg sandwich? Egg. I have no recipes with... No, it wouldn't be egg. What am I... Yeah. What? I can't make scrambled eggs? I just dropped my notepad. Are you serious? I can't make... That can't be right. Egg. Are you kidding me? What is it? Component? No. Yes. Component egg. I can make a vegetable sandwich. How is that an egg? Oh, because veggie is in there with 2 G's. So you're telling me that someone with a cooking skill of 0 can't make eggs? I love Cataclysm. Some of that stuff is just so dumb that you can't cook an egg. And don't get me wrong, lots of people overcook or undercook eggs. It's one of the most commonly messed up dishes in the restaurant industry. But most people don't care. Most people, that make eggs, if they're a little rubbery, they're going to eat them anyway. It's not like you're going to burn them to the point where they're inedible, So like that frustrates me. That annoys me. Okay. You know what? We're at 30 minutes. We should just call the episode. And I complain too much. All right, well, Internet, thank you for watching. Hopefully you had a good time. Hopefully you, I was going to say learned something, but I don't think that matters at all in this series. Hopefully you enjoyed me rambling about these various questions that have little to nothing to do with Cataclysm. Hopefully that is enjoyable for you. But for now, that's going to do it. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.